Old Town, a big iron head with empty eyes, a steep climb up narrow stairs for a view from the town square tower, a hilltop castle swarming with tourists on a gloomy Sunday, plus a super high carb dinner that, paradoxically, fixes my blood sugar. The magic of Kraków. Hi, I'm Jeremy. Thanks for watching. One of the best aspects of being in a new destination is that you have to get your bearings. Seek out its character. Familiarize yourself with its layout and its look. So on our first day in the southern Polish city of Kraków, Masayo and I wandered around Old Town and the surrounding streets, basically at random, patiently and gradually establishing the connection to the place that allows you to feel like you belong there. The old first day perambulation, a truly agreeable formality. Now, I will say that some negative diabetes psychology brought my mood down today, and my whininess in turn annoyed Masayo. But we fought through it, and the day ended with a superb dinner and a welcome upturn in my diabetic fortunes. Things always get better if you just stick it out. The first news of the day wasn't good. My ridiculous juice decision before bed had made me high, 242. What a dumb choice. I deserved this one. We ate breakfast at a nearby place recommended by the hostel guy. The food was fine, but I would have liked the restaurant anyway because of its name. Gospoda Koko. Gospoda Koko. The statuettes and fanciful doilies were pleasant and homey, but with a name like Gospoda Koko, even a simple plate of eggs, bread, and lunch meat seemed exotic. Since our hostel is located on the edge of Old Town, we were already right in the heart of things. The first thing we did was hit the town square, a wide plaza surrounded by towering buildings, ornately designed. No opportunity for a decorative flourish had been overlooked or wasted. Ancient-looking bricks comprised sturdy walls, which often popped out with big, flat colors. Busy little carvings enlivened arched entrances. People, wrapped up tight to brave the cold November air, filled the square, walking through the market, stopping at outdoor restaurants for some warm food and a bit of people watching, or craning their necks to snap photos of the monstrous magnificence all around. Pigeons flew in large groups, landing among the people and then taking off for a sloping roof high overhead. Kids and adults did double takes at the rows of horse-drawn tourist buggies. It was all quite convivial. We were drawn to the town square tower, which is a thick square brick structure you can climb up. The stairs inside are narrow and steep and dark. It was very reminiscent of the cathedral back in Tartu, Estonia. Climbers are allowed to go as high as just under the clocks, and there are great views in every direction. The town square is beautiful from up here. The buildings rise to their full impressiveness, and the bird's eye peek at the people make you anxious to get back down and join them. Having soaked up Old Town and its touches, both sublime and unique, we looked for some lunch. Well, sort of. If you're diabetic, you may have experienced this phenomenon. I don't know if it's a general thing or if it's just me, but a string of high blood sugars tends to rob me of my appetite, which makes it hard to eat properly. That, in turn, alerts my liver, which thinks, hey, this person needs more glucose, and then releases some into my bloodstream, which makes it all worse. Well, I wasn't hungry at all, and when we found a little cafe called Piekarnia Kawiarnia Laikonik, it was all I could do to have a single donut and water. Not enough, obviously. I ate listlessly, and I was grumpy doing it. But it was something and gave the energy needed to continue through some of Old Town Krakow's side streets, no less impressive in their dramatic statues, their ornate architecture, and the inescapable sensation that something important is happening behind every imposing door and large glass window. We ended up, quite randomly, at something rather famous, the Wawel Castle and Cathedral. It was getting dark. It was nearly 3 p.m. after all. And we walked up the long incline with the other tourists past the lookout platforms and under fearsome-looking spiked gates. At the top, in the main courtyard, we sat and watched the people. Having just toured Malbork Castle yesterday, we didn't feel the need to actually go in Wawel, so we just rested and enjoyed the buzz of the people and the feeling of being high above Kraków, under blurry gray skies and surrounded by buildings that felt older than time. As if all of that weren't exciting enough, Before dinner, I had a diabetic breakthrough. 92! Outside, our hunger-related meanderings brought us to an empty but criminally scenic back street, with wet cobblestones glistening in the Van Gogh-esque streetlights. And on that street, there was a Ukrainian restaurant. I'm really getting into this idea of eating an unrelated national food in a given location. Although, on second thought, Ukraine is actually pretty close to Kraków. Smak Ukraiński, for that is the establishment's name, occupies 16th century cellars. To get to it, you tread carefully down a series of old stone steps. It's quite similar to the Café Stenstude, the former dungeon turned restaurant in Stockholm that we visited way back on day 2. Inside the small main room, we were the only diners. The decor, linens and jugs and straw and baskets and other peasanty objects under an arched stone ceiling and subdued lighting, was enhanced greatly by what I assume was Ukrainian music playing softly in the background. Perfect surroundings. I got a giant skewer of meat and onions, plus a heaping helping of white rice. Tough for a diabetic, but when in Ukraine via Poland, do as the Ukrainians via Poles do, I always say. Innocently, I ordered a chocolate drink to go with it. What arrived was the thickest drink, and here I'll put drink in my trademark air quotes, I've ever had, of any type, anywhere. It was as if they'd melted several entire chocolate bars down and added nutmeg and cinnamon. How thick was it? Masayo had a sip, made a face, and announced that that one sip would be her dessert. So, mouth-watering at this delicious but obviously high-carb spread, I took a big Humalog shot right at the table through my Bluffworks pants, and we ate, and it was as perfect as it looked. The big chunks of meat were succulent, each bite needed a forkful of rice, and every couple of minutes a drink of chocolate. On the way home, a guitar player on the street played slow, rhapsodic music that echoed around the lit-up buildings, matching their magnificence note for note. David Gilmour would have been proud. Later at 1 a.m., my blood sugar was not 764,000, but a more than acceptable 190. With half my body weight now being made up of Ukrainian rice and chocolate, any under 200 reading was A-OK with me. So far so good, Kraków, with a little help from neighborly Ukraine. Good thing and a bad thing. I try to notice contrasts when I travel. Something about the spirit of disparate elements contributing to a whole is very attractive. Like these trees near Wawel Castle. 3 barren, leafless trunks with harsh, angular limbs reaching melodramatically up towards nothing, and their goony friend, red, bedraggled, and shaggy. And here they all are getting along. What I didn't care for was skipping lunch after a small breakfast. Stupid. Diabetes thoughts. Today's average was 184, but never mind that. I felt like I turned a corner in the last half of today. May the badness be over, and let that be a lesson to you diabetics out there. When you're too high, just eat several pounds of rice and knock back some mugs of molten chocolate. Straighten you right out. Speaking of badness, tomorrow is a day that Masayo and I have been talking about for months. A visit to Auschwitz-Birkenau, the Nazi death camps of World War II. It's a necessary site for everyone to visit, and a very draining one.